Life is full of surprises. Mom said I loved music when I was a baby. However, despite having two Swing Dance Hall of Fame parents, I wasn't a dancer. Instead, I played college football and was the designated kicker, usually put on the spot when my kick may decide the winning or losing for that day. Well, although my mom did not notice my other interest, I discovered my drive to excel financially. I recall knocking on neighbors' doors and convincing them that 8 years was not too young to cut their grass, and convince my food manager to sell hot dogs at Angel Stadium at age 15. Also, my little swap meet watch stand is what paid for most of my college tuition. And of course, it surprised no one when I decided to major in physical education and minor in business in college. So you see, you would have a much better chance to win in business if you can outrun your competitors. However, can you outrun the market? I mean, the Dow Jones was at 38,750 when the market closed on April 4, 2025. When the market opened on Monday, April 7, it dropped 2,000 points to 36,752 at 9:30 a.m. Then it jumped back to 38,524 at 10 a.m. and finally settled at 37,952 when the market closed. The next day, April 8, it jumped to 39,354 at 9:30 a.m. then dropped to 37,663 at 3:30 p.m. when the market closed. The stocks had another crazy day on April 9 and then closed at 3:30 p.m. at 40,586. I mean, if you can see the charts in advance, you would have made billions. Now, you may be wondering, if Nostradamus could see the future, did he see this? Well, actually, I think he not only saw this, he also put this in his book of prophecy. We already showed you what he saw and predicted about the White House showdown and Ukraine's second invasion into Russian territory after the showdown. He also predicted the possible economic impact of the trade war 2025. And listen to this. Our team decoded this more than 3 years ago in March 2022. In our video, did Nostradamus talk about Putin? Putin? Really? Actually, we found this quatrain when we searched for Putin in Nostradamus' prophecy. We find in Century 3, Quatrain 52, quote, "In Campania, there will be a very long rain. In Apulia, very great drought. The cock will see the eagle, its wing poorly finished. By the lion will it be put into extremity." Have you noticed "put into extremity" in line 4? That's President Putin's name. But we found more than just about the Ukraine war. We said eagle is the United States, the cock is France. An eagle's wing is United States Boeing Company. We thought the prophecy had already been fulfilled because after Boeing's 737 maximum quality problem, calling eagle's wing poorly finished seemed to be a great choice of words. And where can airplane buyers turn to if they don't like Boeing? Well, the only choice seemed to be France's Airbus. But the recent tariff war gave the prophecy new meanings. Who can afford to buy a Boeing airplane if you have to pay 30% or even 50% tariffs? How can Boeing compete with Airbus in the international market? And now look at line 4. By the lion will it be put into extremity. Did you know which country is called the lion? It is China. It has been called the sleeping lion. And which country is now put into extremity? Isn't that China also? Maybe you don't agree with me. You see, the tariffs are for all goods, affecting not just Boeing and its clients. However, you can look for bargains when buying soybeans. But other than Boeing and Airbus, where else can you buy airplanes? No doubt the tariffs will impact China big time. But what will China do under such extremity? Don't forget that China has 14 billion people and 259 civil airports. That is a huge market. But airplane orders from China will surely drop under trade war crossfire. But don't forget, the C-919, the first made-in-China commercial jets, has been in service since May 2023, but may be forced to speed up its production. Two things may happen. One, it may collapse under pressure, compromise on safety standards, or it may take the airplane market by storm. The question now, what did Nostradamus mean when he said, "put into extremity"? Now, since we found Nostradamus' keyword eagle, let's see what else Nostradamus said about the United States. We find in Century 138, quote, "The sun and the eagle will appear to the victor, an empty answer assured to the defeat. Neither bugle nor shouts will stop the soldiers. Liberty and peace if achieved in time through death." Although you may not agree with me, this one seemed to be about the United States' difficult situation. The first line, eagle is the United States, and the sun is its best friend, Japan. At least on the Ukraine issues, Japan stood by the United States since the beginning. It even signed the Japan-Ukraine Support and Cooperation Accord in July 2023. And now, they appear to the victor, Russia. And in line 2 explained what the losing side will get, an empty answer. While line 3 showed the war went on despite efforts to stop it. And then a chilling prediction on how the war will end. Peace to come through death. The next prophecy may be about the United States and its once close ally, Europe. We find in Century 4 Quatrain 70, quote, "Quite contiguous to the great Pyrenees mountains, one to direct a great army against the eagle. Veins opened, forces exterminated. As far as Pau will he come to chase the chief." When the tariffs were announced, the European Union was quite upset and announced the retaliation tariff plan. This is a response no one expected. Was the retaliation contiguous? I mean, against the eagle? As the EU considered the consequences? Think of the third line, veins opened, forces exterminated. The connection between Europe and the United States is a blood connection. It was U.S. armed forces stationed at Europe. But that is about to change. I think the different voices inside the many European countries will cause some quite serious turmoil. Many leaders may soon lose their grip on power. The United States versus China trade war actually started in January 2018. Can you imagine that we are now into the 8th year of this conflict? If you drive around China, you may not notice much difference. But several of China's large corporations have already filed for bankruptcy. Real estate prices have fallen 80% in some cities, while many jobs disappeared with the fallen corporations. So, what will happen next? I will now take you back to this quatrain. We find again in Century 2 Quatrain 44, quote, "The eagle driven back around the tents will be chased from there by other birds, when the noise of cymbals, trumpets, and bells will restore the senses of the senseless lady." Please note that line 3 talked about trumpets, which is President Trump's nickname given by Nostradamus. And the first and second lines explain the round 1 result of the tariff fight, when President Trump had to press pause button several times when warnings of catastrophic consequences flooded the airway. Line 3 talked about the noise from cymbals, trumpets, and bells does paint the current chaotic scene. as the bells of Wall Street ring non-stop in our ears, while President Trump reminds us the sacrifice we have to make to win this war. To most people around the world, the United States is this senseless lady who is dressed as the Statue of Liberty, but acts like a dark angel. Based on this, the tariff war will be over eventually, but it will be several years of hard living ahead for us. After the new round of trade war, the U.S. will have to pay more for lesser goods. But to many, it may be a price we have to pay to reduce the astronomical trade deficit. This is Ken Peters. Thank you for watching.